It's like this little dirty little bass line.
I don't fucking care. Can we move on to a new segment, please?
Welcome to Just Two Fans, a sports show about sports,
Obviously.
about life,
Because sports are life.
and about just whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So, let's go.
Is up, everybody.
What's good, y'all?
I'm Jamie Friedlander. That's Eli Johnson. This is the Just Two Fans podcast, and we are joined, as always, by super producer Cam. Say hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
There he is.
Just hits every time.
Every single time. How you guys doing with your backs and voices since getting back
Not
from
good,
Wisconsin?
dude. Not good at all.
Yeah, it turns out hotel beds suck. Also, screaming at the top of your lungs also doesn't do well for the voice. So if
No.
if I'm sounding a little raspy, there's a reason.
Yeah, and I was just getting over being sick, and so I
Oh,
finally
just
stopped
double
coughing,
down.
and then screamed for 3.5 hours. And
Nice.
so my cough's back in full force.
Yeah, I had a meeting today with some VPs of a trust. So really, really important people. And I had like a teenage squeak because my voice is still kind of shot from that trip, from yelling in the fourth quarter.
Much yelling, dude.
I was like, okay, moving on.
That's
Oh, no.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So then I had to explain to him why my voice was shot, but
Let's just jump into this, right? We'll review the game later. What do you guys think of Madison, Wisconsin?
I like the town. Cool little town.
I thought it was great. I had a blast, man.
Cool little college town.
For those of you who don't know, we went to the Wisconsin game and we went to Madison from Thursday to Sunday. So that's what we're talking about. Continue, Cameron.
So yeah, cool little town. I like the way it's positioned between two lakes. Like it was just very cool. Got a really cool picture when we were driving back into downtown from mini golfing for a few hours. Like it's very cozy. It's very Midwest. And then you put a college in the middle, and it was cool.
Yeah, I thought the city was awesome. Really, like a really cool city. Stuff to do. We kind of talked about this. We'll talk about it again probably a little bit later. Camp Randall, little disappointing. Although I realized why I was a little disappointed in the Camp Randall atmosphere. It's not that they're not loud, right? They got very, very loud at times. The difference between, and this is, I think Ohio State fans have highlighted this too, I could be wrong, is between Autzen and a Camp Randall or a Shoe or something, which may physically, decibel-wise, get louder, is consistency, right?
Yep,
the shocking part to me was Camp Randall, no matter what part of the game, it didn't matter. They only got loud on big plays and third downs. That was it.
Yeah, I've never seen
First and second down, quiet.
I've never seen someone need that make noise on third down as much as they did. Like that prompt is you see it in stadiums all over the place on the Jumbotron, but they needed that a lot more because
that's what most stadiums are. I think more than
I think Autzen's the rarity here.
Right. I think more than Wisconsin being the outlier. I think Autzen, and really, Colorado's at key parts in the game. Colorado's loud on all three downs on defense, right? Like I almost feel like Pac-12 fans get it. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing Big Ten fans here, but it was stunning, especially in this game where it's like you have the number one team on the ropes.
Yeah.
And you are fucking dead silent
2 down
on first and second down.
Yeah.
Crazy to me.
They were almost louder when Wisconsin had the ball on first and second down. Truly.
I think we were for sure.
one thing that really disappoints me and this is for Wisconsin, right? Like, is they need to fix whatever they do about their student section. It's a huge student section. Don't get me wrong. It was listener for those who don't know. It's like 7 full stadium sections. I mean, we're talking
Probably
like,
twice as tall as Autzon's.
Yeah, it's
student
top to
section.
bottom.
it's a
And-
full quarter of the stadium. And
Yeah.
what is a 70,000 seat stadium, something like that?
Mhm.
75, I
70.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, and a quarter of that is students, which is
Yeah.
insane. However, it was near the end of the first quarter when it was finally full.
So I heard someone walking by, like a Wisconsin fan, because an Oregon fan asked them, and they have like the students have one gate that they can go into.
I asked him. That was me.
Oh,
'Cause
I
was
didn't.
like,
I
why
didn't
are
hear you
the
asking.
students
But and so they've got one gate to go into, and so like it's nothing on the students because there was a ton of people. Like we drove past that gate,
here? Oh yeah,
and it was nuts to butts full of kids ready to go in. But yeah, they you're right. They need to change something
They
in how
need to
they
fix
do that. Because
'Cause
it's not like they weren't there at the beginning of the game. It was they were ready
they
to
couldn't
go,
get in.
but they couldn't get in.
And that's a problem for Wisconsin. They need to fix that because I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, like the students were rowdy as hell. So I mean,
Also very disappointing
out.
about that stadium is they played like the audio system played music and shit over the
Yeah.
band the whole game.
Yeah.
that
Every
sucked.
down.
every single down.
Like it was annoying to me.
Yeah,
Like not only because I'm a band kid, but I'm like, every down, you guys are playing something. This is
Mhm.
nuts.
yeah, it's bad.
Even on offense. I was like, this is weird.
It is. It's like an NBA game.
It felt like
Mhm.
an NBA game. That is exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, where it's.
I mean,
just
they
like,
obviously didn't play during the play, but like
Yeah,
so much music all the time.
yeah. It was a very weird experience. It wasn't what I was expecting. I still glad we went. I enjoyed Camp Randall. Jump around is sick. We were stressed during that time, but it is awesome. I'd love to
It's-
go back when it's not an Oregon game or a Colorado game and like just be a fan and just
Yeah.
like, for a big game, right? Like if they're playing Ohio State there, it'd be fun to just go and just be there as a fan and just be there for like a sick jump around and be able to enjoy it more. But it was cool. And I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased because Oregon players were doing it too. So maybe it was a little cooler for me because I
I
was
mean,
like,
it was sick.
that's when I was like, oh yeah, Oregon's got this. Right. My panic meter went from like an 8 to a 2 immediately.
we'll get
We'll
to
talk
the
about it
game.
later. But
Eli and I also attended a Wisconsin
we
basketball
did
game.
do that on a
Friday
whim.
night. We were just walking by the basketball stadium after dinner and they were playing. And I looked at ESPN to figure out who they're playing. And they were beating number 9 Arizona. I was like, so we're going, right?
And I was
And-
like, no hesitation. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yep, we're going. So we watched the second half and Wisconsin upset number 9 Arizona and stormed the
blast.
court. And they did jump around on the court. So like we got a pre-jump around on Friday. It
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
That's cool.
I honestly, that jump around was cooler because they were on the court.
Yeah.
I wasn't stressed. That jump around was even cooler than the one in the stadium. It was really fun to go there. Just to like, I really love attending sporting events where I don't have a dog in the fight
A
or watching
rooting
sports.
interest. Yeah.
Oh
right.
yeah,
like, Like I almost enjoy it more, right? The Ducks stress me.
I
Right.
fully enjoy it more.
Yeah. And so like being there and watching the game and then like we were kind of in the middle of an Arizona fan who was one of those guys who's like, if I clap and am loud at everything, you'll know how big of an Arizona fan I am. One of those guys. And on the other side, because we were like above the entrance, Jamie and I were above the entrance, and on the right side of the entrance or the left side of the entrance was that Arizona fan who like I pointed out to Jamie, the guy's palms were like beat red.
Red.
He was
Yeah.
clapping so hard and so
yeah,
loud.
dude. It was like alarming.
It was cringe. It was super cringe.
It was
right?
cringy. Yeah.
Like we get hyped, but like this guy was like, it was like it didn't feel genuine. It felt like
Yeah.
he was just trying to tell everyone how big of a fan he is.
That, or he was purposely trying to be annoying.
Yeah, and then on
Which
the
is
other
always
side
possible.
of that were a bunch of like 15, 16-year-old broccoli-headed kids, you know, that hairstyle looks like broccoli on their dome. Like every time Wisconsin did something good would like stand up and look at that Arizona fan who I don't know glanced at him once.
He didn't.
I didn't see him glance at him, but every single time they would stand up and like flip him off and like do like
So I actually didn't see them flip
"Oh."
him off, but they did that a lot. and-
I saw him flip him off a couple
okay,
times. But
I
like
didn't see that.
it was just like I was just like, okay, guys. Like
It's
and
just funny
there
to
was a
watch
Wisconsin
fans.
fan behind me who like tapped me on the shoulder and he goes, "Do we want to start telling people that like it's not that deep?" I was like, yeah. And then yeah, so that was pretty fun. Also we got mistaken for coaches and I panicked and didn't say yes. It was bad.
That's the second time you and I have been mistaken for coaches.
Jamie and I get mistaken for coaches a lot.
The first time
We
made
look
a lot
like it.
more sense. The first time made a lot more sense because it was when we were jacked and we were at the gym and all our Oregon stuff.
True. And the second time we're not jacked
We're
anymore.
not jacked.
We're bigger.
We're big.
We're bigger. But I just like he was like, "Are you guys coaching tomorrow?" And I was just like,
No.
"No." I couldn't think of it. You know, like Alik Terry's mind just like completely spaced in my head. Like I was just like,
Yeah.
I can't back this up if I say yes.
No, damn it.
Just weird. Maybe the hesitation made him be like, "Oh, he's not supposed to tell me that he's coaching tomorrow because he's not supposed to be here or something." You know, something like that. Like, you know, maybe he still thinks,
Maybe.
you know.
He has forgotten about you guys completely.
Oh yeah, totally.
have a
No, maybe
question.
not because he liked our shoes.
Oh yeah, he loved
Because
her.
I was wearing my pitties and Jamie was wearing the what are they?
The
90s.
the Max
The
Air
90s,
90s.
Max
yeah.
90s.
Air Max 90s. So that you know, we were ducked out pretty good. So he remembered those because he was like, "You guys' shoes are sick."
I have a question. So I think the consensus from us over the trip is Wisconsin fans are very hospitable and nice and awesome.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Would you rather your fan base be known for being hospitable and nice and awesome, or have your fan base be known for being a bunch of dicks? Because both of our fan bases are not well liked.
I
largely.
would say I would rather be known as like a hospitable place to be, right? Like a place that's fun to go to. I also don't care if we're considered dicks. I like it's just it is what it is. I mean, there's clearly a chip on our fan base shoulder from just years of being
No doubt
like-
about both of them, Colorado and Oregon.
from years of being like, no, you're not legit. No, you're
Shit
not
on-
legit. No, you're
yeah.
not legit. So it's like, you know what? Like, we'll
Fuck
embrace it.
you.
Exactly.
Be the
And-
villain if you want me to be the
Well,
villain.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll-
I think Oregon's been forced into the villain role.
Oh, we'll get into that too because it's continuing.
Yeah. And so like I would rather be known as like a place where like, oh yeah, the fans were so fucking cool and friendly and like we had a blast.
Well-
And their team is so dominant, which was also cool.
Here's the thing.
But like I don't care
Here's
if
the
it's
thing.
the other way.
I also feel like Oregon fans are super hospitable, like outside of the 60 minutes of the game.
True. I would agree with that.
I also think if you're not around the student section, the fans are nice. Like they're not going to be mean to you, but it's fucking loud. So you can
Yeah, it's
you can
oppressive.
like be overwhelmed and think that it's not hospitable, but like I don't think the fans are outright nasty. Right? Like and same with
That's not what I've
Colorado,
heard,
right?
but-
Like I think some can be, right? Like there's bad apples in every fan base.
Oh,
But
for
like
sure.
if you go over to the student section in Colorado or Oregon, it's going to be a bad time for you.
Yeah.
Period.
Mhm.
If you go around the donor section at Autzen, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think it's overblown a little bit. But yeah.
Well,
I'm
I think
kinda with
also
you.
Oregon gets like because there's a lot of Twitter fans for Oregon,
Oh yeah.
so there's like that going. Like there's a lot to it.
Well, and like, with anything, people remember the bad things and the bad fans. And it doesn't, I mean, when we've got, 10,000 students that are drunk and will flip off anybody, even grandma, after a handful of White Claws, like,
I mean, to be
you're just
fair, I
gonna
think
get it.
that's any student section.
I agree, but it's just there is no there's no overpowering hospitality from every other fan. It's just kind of like midline where we have like all the Wisconsin fans, and we didn't really interact with the students, but like the all the comments and everything from Wisconsin fans would have probably overshadowed any bad interactions.
True.
So, but I mean, that being said, I don't care. I kind of like it. If
I love being the villain, but
if you're
I
gonna
would
hate
rather
us,
be on the other. Yeah.
it goes back to like when we were in the marching band and people like yelled at us consistently and like constantly, and like you just didn't like me because I was in green and yellow. Like I enjoy getting that. Like I enjoy you hating me that much.
Mhm.
And so it goes back to like that villain role. You want us to be the villain. You think we have bad fans. That's fine. You're
Yeah.
going to spend time, especially on Twitter. Those people spend plenty of time thinking about us.
Oh yeah.
I don't think about you at all, Madman. Am I right?
Every Oregon State fan on Twitter.
Dude. USC, Washington, Oregon State.
They
It's
just won't let us
rent
go.
free. Rent free.
Rent
Dude.
fucking free.
Move on, bro.
Two of those fan bases are real fucking quiet. Actually, really all three these days.
Yeah.
Big facts.
Real quiet.
Or
All right.
Oregon State's less quiet because they just keep saying that that Oregon's at fault for ripping apart the Pac-12 when it's just
It's just
factually
hilarious
false.
to me that they pretend like they wouldn't have done the exact same fucking thing.
If they could. Yeah.
Like you're just upset that you didn't get invited to the party. Now, that's
Yeah.
fine. You could be upset about that, but don't blame me for going to the party.
My,
I was invited.
my point to everything was like, it's like Oregon barely made it.
Yeah.
Oregon made it in because of Washington's TV market.
Well, yeah.
Oregon would have made it into one of the like the Big 12.
Oregon would have
come
made
and
it
got
into
Oregon.
a conference for sure, like a different conference for sure. But like
Oregon
barely
definitely
made it into the
rode
Big Ten.
Washington's coattails.
Yeah, like I again, it's like Chris had to explain to us even that this has nothing to do with brand or it's how many potential eyes you can get on in a TV market.
I think Oregon might be the slight exception to that rule.
I
A little
agree
bit
with
of
that,
brand.
but that's why they still got in,
Yes.
right? Is because they are the slight exception to that rule because Portland and Eugene aren't a TV market.
No.
Right. And so but Oregon is the one school in the Pac-12 outside of like maybe USC that has a true national reach.
Yeah. Brand recognition is still strong across
Yeah.
the country. And then especially
But
with
that was
like,
number
doing-
3 on the list and a pretty deep 3
for sure.
on the list of what they're looking for. Right. So,
Absolutely.
but that's what I would say. It's like, it can't be Oregon's fault if they barely made it. Right. It's like
You're the
they
last
barely
team.
made the cut.
Like,
It's nobody's fucking fault. Nobody. It's the
Larry
TV.
Scott's.
It's really the TV companies.
It really is,
right.
but
Like
it-
Larry Scott screwed the pooch, but like this is all greed from the TV companies. That's
yeah, I
all
mean, we
it is.
can't really be like Larry Scott had a ton to work with.
Oh, he
back in
did.
that.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
no,
But
no,
not- but not coming to the end of the contract. Like that was it.
No, no.
That was done.
When he had the gumption was when he signed the first shitty deal.
Oh, absolutely. But once it
And-
was done, that was it. Like that was the beginning of
No, he also did no negotiating in between that and when the deal was up. Like he signed the big contract and then he just let it go.
Yeah.
And then he made a ton of terrible decisions in between that. So like, I'm not letting Larry Scott off the fucking hook at all because that guy sucks.
Well, I'm not either.
It's been a long time.
Get our
since we-
conference, office in Silicon Valley, the most expensive part of the conference.
Yeah, no, he was terrible. But yeah, I mean, it boils down to TV, like just TV deals ruined it. But yeah, I mean, and truly, if you want to blame anyone, it's USC and UCLA. If you're gonna blame a school,
Oh, school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're gonna blame schools for doing it, how about the biggest TV market in the world just
Yep.
leaving? right? That puts what was already a non-starter in contract negotiations for TV deals conference. What was it
dead in
makes
the water.
nothing. Dead in the water. Absolutely dead in the water. Yeah, sure. The pressure was still holding on the submarine, but you were just sitting there waiting to die. Like,
Yep.
Anyways.
Yep. Let's move on. We don't need to talk about Larry Scott anymore.
Fuck Larry Scott.
Let's go to trackside with Cam before we keep going into football.
So, not a lot recently. But this weekend is the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's in its second year. There's been some improvements to how they're putting on the race. It's still at a shitty time, 1 a.m. Eastern.
Oof.
And I'm still looking forward to it. It's 11 o'clock for me. It was a way better actual race last year than I thought it was going to be. They have changed some stuff. It is flowing a little bit better. They got the drainage covers figured out. They just cemented them in. They didn't weld them. They just put tarmac over them. So I shouldn't see that issue.
It can't be up to code.
I'm sure it is for the race, for like the 5 days.
Yeah,
they finished it on like Monday.
And then they'll undo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They only get one crazy flood every 5 years.
We only have to get an inspector once a week.
Yeah, exactly. OSHA doesn't come till next Tuesday, so we're good. But as far as the race, it's coming down to it. We're at a position where if the right things happen, Lando could still win the Drivers' Championship. If Max wins on Saturday, he wins the Drivers' Championship. So, really what Lando needs to do, he's got to win. So he needs to start out of pole for that to happen. And he needs Max to finish bottom 10 out of the top 10.
We need a George Pito.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do. The George Pito, man.
So
maneuver.
He's not going to be far enough on the grid to really influence that front half that's going to be
man, he's just going to fucking full send into the first corner. I don't care where he is.
Out of the last chicane off the straight.
Yeah, he's just going to take out half the field. Just make sure Max is one of those.
He's got to do it for the next 3 races, though.
It's fine. Sacrifices must be made.
I think Toto would kill him. Toto would then be looking for 2 drivers.
I'm okay with that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Fine, and Oscar Pito then.
Oscar Pito, he's safe. So yeah. Maybe Colapinto.
That'd be a hell of a teammate job.
Dude, that's the real team orders. All right.
Right. Yeah.
To a missile and take out Max.
You imagine
the real team orders is like, hey, Oscar, can you come out into the woods with me? Don't bring your cell phone.
Yeah. Leave everything behind.
Out Max Verstappen. We'll give you $100,000 to just plow him off the road.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I still think that some of these cars are hitting their strides. Ferrari's looking quick. So I got no guess on who's going to win. It's been a couple weeks, so I'm probably going to say Max is going to win, but I'd really like to see Lando. Just going to play it safe.
Going Lando.
I'm going Sainz.
And Carlos
That would
action.
be pretty wild.
Just to keep doing well since he lost his seat.
Yeah. I
just
like it.
In spite of it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Driving for a spot next year,
No, he's got a seat.
Oh, he's got a spot.
He's going to Williams.
Yeah, I mean,
he's driving for first driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, so should be exciting. Everything starts tomorrow night. So we'll see how it shakes out. But in other news, on the 19th, so what? Yesterday, real time.
If you talk about NASCAR again, I will flip my shit.
That was 2 Sundays ago. We're good. On the 19th was testing day at the Thermal Track in California for IndyCar. Logan was out there. Logan Sargent was out there testing for Meyer Shank. He does not have a seat with them. They just kind of picked him up as a test driver for this portion of the season. He looked pretty good. Finished in third overall by about a half a second. So not great, but it's his first real drive in an Indy car. And Thermal's a weird track because it's all surrounded by sand. They just do like an exhibition race out there. They don't even do a real race. So we'll see where he ends up, but it's likely he won't have a seat for next season at Indy. Was reading a couple things. Best thing for him is maybe go to sports car racing and try to start a career there, and then maybe get into maybe a reserve driver seat in 2026 for F1. But he needs to keep driving through the year. I mean, F1's really the road to Indy, so it's not that bad.
Yeah. I started a Mario Kart league that he could join.
And he's not doing anything else.
I'm just saying. High quality racing. So,
hey man,
Logan, if you're listening,
to say about Mario Kart.
Yeah, give him like 100 coins a race, baby.
Yeah. I got 220 the other day.
There you go,
that, boys.
Yeah. Go 50-50 on it. But that's all I got. I mean, cool. No recent races and Vegas coming up. Probably have some more next week as we get into. So we're getting into a triple header. So we've got 3 races back to back the next 3 weekends.
And it's over.
And then we're over until March. So coming up on.
What a weird calendar, dude. F1's wild.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. I did see that it is going to be cold in Vegas this weekend. Like
it was cold last year.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like cold. I don't know what the conversion is because they didn't tell me in freedom units, but in European units, it's only going to be 4 as the overnight.
So here's the thing. I think when it comes to temperature, in a lot of ways, I do agree that a base 10 system is great for like measuring height and distance. Mm-hmm. However, when it comes to temperature, Fahrenheit is the superior method.
Way better.
I agree.
100 is hot. 0 is cold.
That's because Fahrenheit is related to the human body. Centigrade is related to water. Those are their differences.
That's the problem.
I mean, my thing is like, the problem is there's not enough numbers in Celsius, right? Because it's like the difference between 10 and 11 is like 8 degrees.
Yeah. Wild.
That's not exact. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's close to
American education system,
like 9 6/5 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's some crazy number, but it's like we have a whole spectrum of degrees in there that we can describe how hot it is with that. When you only have 2 different numbers,
yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, I think like the difference between like 18 and 20 is like a down coat or a light sweatshirt, and that's not enough information for me.
Yeah.
Like exactly. I got to know 45 or 55 because those are 2 very different days.
Very different days. So Saturday, it's supposed to be a low of 53 in Vegas.
So that's cold.
Kind of.
I mean, it's cold for the cars.
It's cold.
It's a dry cold.
At least it's a dry cold. Yeah. So, I mean, low of 53, but it's a low of 4 in European. Like, come on. That's different.
It's supposed to be around 60 at race time.
So still going to be cold. The blankets are going to be needed. I'm excited for year 4 or 5 at Vegas where they don't have blankets.
Going to see what driving on ice.
Yeah, see what Pirelli's got for him with this driving on hockey pucks essentially.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. That's the end.
Cool.
Trackside with Cameron.
Oh! Quick NFL note: Bo Nix is him.
Bo Nix is the first rookie quarterback in Broncos franchise history to win AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yep,
he looks good.
He looks good, dude. Good. He was 28 of 33 for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Like it's not like Atlanta has a bum defense.
No. I mean, they had injuries, but that's what you're supposed to do against an injured NFL defense.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how he'll play against the Raiders this week.
Me too, on the road. But
And the Raiders, for some reason, will play out of division, like they don't know how to play football, and then they'll come in to division and play lights out for some reason. I don't get it, but
yeah, it's weird.
yeah.
Didn't the Broncos already beat them once though? Last time?
Yes.
So all I remember is
At home.
Pretty handily.
Max Crosby talking a bunch of shit and then getting beat.
Oh, yeah, that's what he did. And he was
Yep.
talking shit during the game, and then Bo Nix.
I think that
kinda-
was before the emergence of Brock Bowers, though. He's really kind of turned them around a little bit in a way.
Brock Bowers had 8 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown.
Okay, maybe not.
against the
Never
Broncos.
mind. Never mind. I lied. Turns out I lied.
You was wrong. Moving on.
Man, what a kid.
He looks good, dude. I mean, he looks like he has caught up to the speed of the NFL, and like Sunday specifically, he looked like Oregon Bo.
Yep.
Like he was comfortable. He was moving around. He was playing free, and it was awesome.
Yeah. He looked great. I'm interested. I think he'll still be a rookie, right? I think he'll have some down games.
Oh yeah,
But
look at the Baltimore game. They got fucking hammered.
Seeing this, right? Seeing him, like, it shows that he can hang. He can play the game at this high level. So it'll be about consistency and just when the game kind of starts to slow down for him permanently.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is your next 3 games are winnable. You have Vegas, the Browns, and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those at home, and the away games, the Raiders, who are dumpster fire right now.
Mm-hmm. All 3 of those are dumpster fire right now.
Then you got at the Chargers, which is going to be tough, but the Chargers have shown that they're not invincible. At the Bengals, which looks way more winnable than it did when the schedule came out. And then obviously you end the season.
The Bengals are so weird. Like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are
Burrow's playing out of his fucking mind.
Like MVP level play, and they're like what? They have like 3 wins. Like they're just terrible.
Wild, dude. He's the passing leader in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And they're getting fucking destroyed.
Smoked.
They're not getting smoked, but like they're losing every game.
Yeah.
It feels like crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy. All right. College football. That's enough other things. It's time for college football. Couple newsworthy notes before we get into our review of last week's games. New roster limit next year. Rosters are going to be limited to 105 players. Currently, there's an 85 player scholarship limit, but there's no limit on the number of walk-ons.
I'm glad that they're doing this. I think it's needed with NIL because we saw it with what's his face who went to Florida, the cornerback
Cormani
McClain clearly just took NIL money and said, "Oh, I don't need a scholarship."
Yeah,
so
I'm torn. Right, I'm torn because this is going to put thousands of college football players out of football. Every roster has like 130 plus guys on it. Most of them have 150 plus with walk-ons, and they will not have a home. Right? Because teams this offseason, this spring, the portal is going to be fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Like it's been nuts. This portal cycle is going to be like, I don't even know how you're going to keep up because there are going to be literally thousands of guys in the portal.
It'll be interesting to see what happens at the FCS level.
I think it's going to raise the FCS level of play.
That's what I'm saying, which I actually view as a good thing. I think
in the and group of 5, like they have to love this.
Oh yeah, which I like. What like we love chaos in college football.
Oh, I think I'm on board, but these first few years are going to be really rough, and there's a good amount of guys that are going to get absolutely screwed.
Totally, there are going to be guys who are going to get screwed, and they're going to have to play at FCS schools
or not play because nobody can keep up with the portals.
Yeah. But again, it's like
But I'm down.
College
Like,
football completely changed, right? We need
giving-
to adjust. And,
yeah,
like
but
Dan
20
Denning
more
said,
scholarships.
you just
is
need to be
great.
the best at adjusting.
Yeah.
Well, it also means you can't just like basically have a bunch of walk-ons be your entire scout team, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
teams actually have to be a little more purposeful with their recruiting and who they bring in. You can't just like open the doors and say, like you said, like the Cormani McLean, that's the red flag, if you will, for what
Mhm.
could go wrong with NIL. And I think this fixes it. The amount of chaos this offseason is going to be.
Yeah. And I think
insane.
they'll probably have to do a couple adjustments to that number. I would imagine they're going to be like, oh,
I think 105 is pretty good. I mean, that's
yeah. I
huge.
mean, they
doubles
could,
the NFL roster.
yeah, they could move it up to 115 or whatever. Like,
Sure.
you know, like it just they may have to buoy it a little bit, but I love this, honestly.
I think
and
it's
we
great.
talked about it before on this kind of being needed. So
Yeah, this is just more of a prep. Like if we thought the portal was crazy before,
yeah, right.
this portal cycle is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yep.
Coaching carousel has begun
In full.
in full. FAU has fired Tom Herman.
What?
And the early favorite to be the FAU head coach. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Dan Lanning.
Ray Lewis.
Really?
Yep.
That's weird.
This is
Ray
if this
Lewis,
happens,
huh?
it will be an utter failure. They're trying to do what Deion's doing.
Yeah.
And Ray Lewis doesn't have a fucking superstar quarterback son and a Travis Hunter that wants to go play for him. And
Yeah, maybe he does.
And like Ray Lewis, like Deion Sanders is known as and I'm not going to say Ray Lewis isn't one of the greatest of all time because he absolutely is. But like off the field, Deion Sanders is a personality. Like he has like his own persona. The second persona of Ray Lewis is not one that mom and dads want to send their son to be a part of.
Oh.
Because it's murderous.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just seems wild to me.
A party to. A party to
Yeah.
murderous. Not the party.
Yeah.
Party two, not a party.
It's just funny to me because I knew like somebody's gonna try to do this.
Oh yeah.
Like get an old NFL star to do it, and it's just not gonna work.
No.
Other coaching carousel, UMass has fired Don Brown. Charlotte has fired Biff Poggi.
It's weird. The weird like part about UMass firing is one. I mean, he had to go. He had to go. But UMass has actually started playing really well towards the end of the season. And they've actually been in some really close games. They've still lost the games, but just I mean, we all knew he was going, but it's just funny because they started playing well right at the end.
Yep. And like I said, the Biff Poggi experiment in Charlotte is over.
Have you heard about this guy?
Oh yeah, he's wild.
That dude is crazy.
He is crazy.
Like an absolute psychopath.
Yeah, he goes to games in a tank top. Like,
yeah,
he's wild. He is wild. But the experiment's
like that
over.
Last Chance U coach who's just a prick.
And then CMU, Central Michigan head coach Jim McElwain is going to retire at the end.
McElwain, wasn't he at Colorado State for a while?
Yes. And then he went
to
Florida. Florida, yep.
Oh, man, what a career.
And then he's going to retire. Probably because NIL and like he just
doesn't want to deal with it.
Recognize the sport anymore.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if like Dabo did that too.
That wouldn't shock me. I mean, he doesn't need the money anymore.
Yeah, and he's clearly hates it all since he doesn't use the transfer portal.
Also, just like the cringiest person on the planet.
Dude, the Dabo run out is like the cringiest fucking thing.
If your head coach is that much more excited than the team, you got a problem.
It's not that he's more excited. He's just wants it all about him for that moment. And that's gross to me.
It's very gross. Very gross. All right, let's get into last week's games. Rough week for the boys because Cameron beat us.
Oof. Rough week for the gang.
We all did fairly well for the chaos that's happening across the sport.
Yeah.
We've all done pretty well, I feel like, especially in the money line. The spread is the spread.
It's
The
elusive.
spread-
All right. Like it's elusive.
I mean, technically, Jamie and I nailed the spread.
Yeah, 500.
Yeah, you're at
That's
500.
what Vegas wants, baby.
Yep.
All right. Let's start with the Big Ten, as we always do, and then we'll go through the rest. Might not do all of them. We'll just talk about the notable ones. We will do all the Big Ten. Washington hosted UCLA because they played in Husky Stadium, and it's the only place they know how to play football. They won.
Yep.
All of their wins are at Husky Stadium. All of their losses are when they weren't at Husky Stadium.
Tracks.
That tracks.
Forgot to factor that in. That's our bad.
That is
Yep.
our bad.
We all missed it.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm okay with getting like,
I mean, my
my
reasoning
pick.
was still sound.
yeah,
My reasoning
down.
for picking the other team always is sound
yeah.
in that game.
It's just wishful
Um,
thinking, always.
Yeah. Ohio State at Northwestern. This game was at Wrigley Field. It was typical Ohio State football. Northwestern takes an early lead. Ohio State just squashes them the rest of the game.
Yep.
They, however, did
disappointing
not
for the
cover the spread. They did not cover the spread. They only won by 24, not by 28 and a half.
Unfortunate.
Selfish. Bad.
Illinois,
it's
my
it's like the
hopes-
one game where I was like, I didn't go with like the whole, oh, they're going to take their foot off the gas. It's dumb.
my hopes of Illinois finishing 6-6 were dashed
In dramatic fashion.
because Michigan State's not very good.
They're bad.
Um,
They've shown signs of being good, but overall they're bad.
they've shown signs of being competent.
Fair. That
Good
a fair
is
assessment.
good is a fairly loose term in that case.
Yeah.
But anyway, Illinois takes care of business. You guys got that. I did not. And apparently Chris did not pick games until after the morning slate of games had started. So he went 0-0 through the first
0-0
three
on
games.
that.
Penn State at Purdue. This game went about as you would expect, unless your name is Eli.
I said I just wanted to be a little bit different on this one.
You did. You did.
You
say
were
that.
different and you lost.
I did. You know what's kind of frustrating though is would I have won 17? No, it still would have been 32. I was gonna say
Yeah,
with
they-
that because the Purdue end zone debacle of how he thought it was in because they paint their sidelines black to match the fucking end
Unreal,
zone.
dude. So stupid.
I was like, oh, but if you would have gotten that, if you would have actually been in bounds, I would have gotten it, but I still wouldn't have.
Nope. The spread got smoked.
Yep, spread got smoked.
Nebraska at USC. This was probably one of the best games of the week, to be honest with you.
Also
But-
very controversial.
Super controversial because USC got away
bailed
with
the
like
fuck out.
the most egregious pass interference I've ever seen.
That was the fact that wasn't called. It's very USC.
Oh
It's-
yeah,
we've been
And-
screaming it from the mountaintops for 2 decades
for
now
from
that
the beginning
USC
of
always
time.
gets the refs.
Yep,
If you're playing USC,
Um,
you're playing the USC Trojans and the refs.
yep. However, that did. I guess it wouldn't have mattered. But I won Cameron and I both won the money line and spread there. Eli, you did not.
Yeah. I mean, what did we say, Jamie? You know, it felt like 7 points. We just didn't know how they were going to get there.
Yeah.
So
You guys nailed it.
8, 7, 8. Pretty
Yeah.
close. Rutgers at Maryland. Rutgers
comeback kid.
Rutgers really took care of business here.
They really did. You know,
Um,
I saw Maryland play their best game against Oregon and still get blown out, and Rutgers was playing decent. I was like, I got to go Rutgers on this one.
I mean, it was 21 to 17 going into the fourth quarter. So like this was certainly not in hand.
Then it
wasn't.
Then it wasn't. Oregon at Wisconsin.
Whoa.
This stupid fucking sport is,
thank God I brought my blood pressure medication.
So many years of my life are gone. Like they're just, I know it.
Yeah. The damage,
and they're going to continue to go away. Like this, it's not going to fix itself.
No, it's really not.
Here's the thing, right? You can look at this game in a bubble and be very concerned, right? And I think that would be valid if you were just looking at it in that bubble of just the game.
Yeah.
Oregon's offense was stagnant at best, terrible at worst, but the defense was, save from one drive, the defense was stout.
Lights out.
So kudos to the defense. They won this game. Couple things that people conveniently forget when they bash Oregon for being close in this football game is Oregon is the only team in the country that had to play 8 conference games in a row with no bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Only team. That alone is insanely impressive, and they're the only one to come through unscathed through that.
Yeah.
That's enough said right there. Why is Oregon not allowed to have their scare game? Like, why? I don't understand.
Well, that's like what I was going to say is like people have been calling trap games for 4 weeks now. Since the Ohio State game, every game's been a quote unquote trap game, right? And
they've blown everybody else out.
And they've blown everyone out. They got trapped. But you know what? In years past, they lose this game.
Yeah. The best tweet I saw, we saw it after the game. I've seen Chip Kelly lose this game. I've seen Mark Helfrich lose this game. I saw Willie Taggart lose this game. I saw
sure as shit saw Mario Cristobal.
Mario Cristobal lose multiple of these games, and Dan Lanning just won that game, right? Like this game, and almost to the day, reminded me of the game that I attended at Cal that ended 15-13 in 2010.
Yeah.
It was almost identical.
Yep.
And we talked about how jump around turned it around for the Ducks. That's clear. They scored 10 of their 16 points in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Also, again, Dan Lanning is an absolute masterclass of motivation.
Insane.
The fact that he planned on jump around being a difference maker in this game.
He fucking used Pavlov's dog in the team meeting.
He used a team's tradition against them.
Yeah.
He's a genius. Like, it's just a masterclass. A masterclass on how to coach. I mean,
for those,
like I told
those
you
who don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Dan Lanning, if you watch Ducks versus them, first of all, it's amazing every week.
We're in it.
We are in it. Cameron and I are in it twice. Eli was blocked by somebody else the second time.
Lame.
But Dan Lanning at the beginning of the week in the team meeting started the team meeting by playing jump around. And then he went into the Pavlov's dog thing, which if you don't know what Pavlov's dog is they would ring a bell and then they would feed the dog. So the dog would associate the bell with food and he would get excited when he heard the bell, not necessarily just seeing the food. That's essentially the story. And so he was saying, when you hear jump around, it's go time. So we're going to play it all week in practice. It's going to be random. But as soon as you hear jump around, you start jumping around and you start flying. It's time to turn it up a notch. And they did it all week in practice. And sure as shit, the fourth quarter of that game, the Wisconsin offense did nothing at all.
Literally nothing.
And it was the only time the Oregon offense had any juice.
Yeah. Like I said earlier in the show, that was the moment when I saw the Ducks doing the jump around too. And like, because I said it with Maryland too, right? Like everyone was freaking out. I can't believe we're throwing all these fake plays against fucking Maryland. It's like, no. Like, this is to get the guys playing loose.
Yep.
Because this team has the talent to wipe the floor with anyone, right? They just need to play their game and they need to play fast and have fun, right? They can't play tight, which they were tight at Wisconsin, right? And so as soon as I saw them loosening up, jumping around, you see Evan Stewart out there doing his goofy dances, like having a blast. It was like, okay, this is actually okay. So my panic meter was pretty high at some point. After half, Trayshawn Holden came out of the locker room. He pointed at fans because we're like, let's go Ducks, and he pointed at us and goes, we got you. I was like, okay, that helps. He was like, it was like he looked like he wasn't worried at all, which is crazy in retrospect, but
losing.
They were losing at the time. But like again, like you're kind of looking at it going like they're not they're not worried. Wisconsin's offense did one drive. That like literally
second drive, the first drive of the third quarter that they had that ended in a field goal, which like the fact that the defense stopped that drive, that was the end of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Was that drive ending in field goal?
Yeah. But like so the panic meter was at about a 7 or an 8 at the end of the third. As soon as that I saw them doing jump around, I went 2. I was like, the Ducks have this game. It's over. Like they've won. I thought they were going to roll for that quarter. They didn't roll.
Almost did.
I mean, the defense rolled. The defense absolutely rolled. The offense looked better. They actually played well, ish. Right. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Wasn't good. Dylan Gabriel had another fucking goal to go interception, but like that throw is 2 feet farther forward. It's a touchdown in the first quarter. And I'm guessing at that point it's game on. Like like seriously, that throw goes the other way. I think this game's entirely different.
I agree with that.
But
I think Dylan, the biggest thing, because I was the entire time I was trying to be like, why is this offense so stagnant right now? I think there's 2 reasons. One, Dylan was off. He wasn't off huge, but he was definitely off. And with how tight Will Stein's timing is, you can't really afford to be that off. And 2, I think with all the injuries from the 8 weeks of playing in a conference in a row, we lacked that guy who can take the top off the defense, namely Tez. But like Kyle Casper is one of those guys too, and he was out.
He's been out all year.
Yeah, but Pelham was out too. Like there was a lot of guys out, right? We don't have that guy who would basically they could double team Evan Stewart the whole game, right? And it wasn't like the other receivers weren't going to be good. Like Ferguson had a great game. He also had.
Justice Lowe went out for 2 they
just lack that guy who garners more attention to make other people open more. So that was the big one. Also, like again, you kind of talked about just being off a little bit, or I was talking about that, but you're talking about Dylan's throw behind and the goal to go. There was also Terrence Ferguson had a full touchdown in his hand and he got bit by the turf monkeys.
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Like this game was almost a blowout.
Yeah, you look at 2 or 3 different plays, and you can't say that for Wisconsin, right?
No.
Like the
Wisconsin
argument usually
every point
is,
they could.
Right. The argument usually is you can say that about both teams. 2 or 3 plays go the other way and the other team wins. You can't, like Wisconsin put up as big of a fight as they could put up in this game.
Yeah.
Offensively, for sure. And that shows because their offensive
even defensively, for sure.
Yeah.
This was very.
But even defensively, Oregon doesn't shoot themselves in the foot with the turf monkeys and a bad throw, and we're talking about 14 more points, and Oregon wins by 17.
Yeah.
Right? Like on 2 plays. Even all the rest aside, right? And then you mentioned that in the fourth quarter they did the fake field goal that was wide open. He got shoelace tackled, but if he doesn't get that shoelace tackle, it's a touchdown. I watched that play over again today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a touchdown. So
that's how this whole game was.
Yeah.
Right. This is like I was saying it. it's so reminiscent of those old Stanford games of when Stanford just, if there was, I can count on both my hands. I can't count on one hand how many times I saw a hole that Jordan James was going to go for 60 yards and just get shoelace tackled.
Yeah,
It was just one of those games. Like that's how Stanford was too against like LaMichael and those guys. It's like they're one broken tackle away from a touchdown on like 8 plays. And it was just dirty. It was one of those games where they just everything was going Wisconsin's way. In that game, the Ducks still pulled it out.
Yep. Win's a win. Move on. That's fine.
Yeah. Basically clinched the playoff. So
speaking of, and they did clinch a Big Ten championship berth that we found out Tuesday.
It's so weird how
these big conferences and tiebreakers are going to be crazy.
You know the fucked up part is eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have the SEC and the Big Ten as the 2 conferences, and they're going to have divisions that are basically like the old.
That's where it's going to end up.
That's what's going to happen.
I'm okay with that.
There's going to be the Big Ten West, and that's going to be the Pac-12. Yep. You know,
be the Pac-8 probably, but
Pac-8, but it'll be whatever that is, right? Yep, that's what it's going to end up being.
I'm good with that. That's fine.
I'm totally
Wisconsin is absolutely going to be the Stanford of the Big Ten. I'm just claiming that right now.
Oh yeah,
I just feel like that team's going to be the one that I don't care how good or bad they are, just going to be an absolute thorn every season.
Well, the 3 times we've watched Oregon play them in person, that is what has happened.
What
the first 2 times
combined,
the first 2 times they were 10-win Rose Bowl teams, so that makes sense. This team's was 5-4. Like they're not great.
I was somebody, I can't remember who I was listening to, but they were talking about that, and they're like, Wisconsin is like 5-6 now, right? But like statistically, I thought they were already 5-5. Another, anyways, they're like statistically they're a pretty decent team and like very efficient. So, you know, they can get people, right? Like,
yeah, I mean. Their wins are impressive. Their losses just were pretty ugly, right? Yeah. Like the USC loss looks worse and worse every week. They got absolutely crushed by Alabama before Alabama had even hit their stride. They got destroyed by Iowa. That's the worst loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, statistically, they're not terrible. So anyway. Road win's a road win at this point.
Yeah. Oh, well, you didn't even mention the fact that the last 2 teams Oregon's played were both on byes before Oregon.
True. That's also factual.
Like
the odds were stacked against the Ducks.
When you have 2 weeks to prepare for a team that's been playing for 8 straight.
And again, man, you got fan bases out here being like, Oregon could have lost 4 games. Like, yeah, but your team has actually fucking lost.
Yeah.
Unless you're Indiana, and Indiana fans aren't saying that shit at all because I don't think they want any.
They're quiet.
They don't want that smoke.
No.
So like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, almost doesn't count in football at all.
Well, it is. Every fucking narrative that's out right now,
it's just stupid.
Me off, dude.
It's just stupid.
This whole like SEC losses are better than Big Ten wins.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's absolute horseshit.
The glazing of the SEC is at an all-time sickening level.
Yeah,
insane. Colorado, Utah, the Buffaloes take care of business in impressive fashion. Travis Hunter is him. Shedeur Sanders is also him. But that defense, man, I'm telling you, this is not just the Travis and Shedeur show. That defense is playing good ball. This was probably their worst game of late, and they still were pretty dominant.
Yeah, they were on the field a lot.
That's what happens when you have an explosive offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's very reminiscent of like old school Oregon games. Whereas like the offense would come out, take 3 plays, and you're like, defense, you're like, I'm back on the field again. I barely just got some water. Please let me
Yeah,
let
where,
me
like,
rest the legs a little
their
bit.
longest
Let me
drive
get
was a
these
minute and
damn
30
rest
seconds, and then
Yeah.
defense had to get back out there. Yeah.
for another 8 minutes because
Yeah.
it's Utah.
Yep.
God damn it.
There's a bunch of like people are posting a bunch of stats about how Travis Hunter shouldn't win the Heisman because, and they pick one side of the ball. They're like, he's not a top 5 receiver, and then they say he's not a top 5 corner. It's like, yeah, but he is both of those fucking things.
Yeah. I mean, it's just people, again, narratives. It's narratives, right?
Travis Hunter is the Heisman, period.
He's the best player in college football right now.
And we're never going to see it again. I don't care what people say. This man's a fucking unicorn. We've never seen anything like it.
Didn't like Desmond Howard do the same thing?
No, Desmond Howard would play like a series or
Talib?
2 on offense.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
We have never seen somebody start and play every fucking snap of the football game on both sides of the ball and be dominant. People are like, he's not even in the top 10 corners in tackling. It's like, you don't want your cornerbacks tackling. That's bad.
You want free safety tackling if there's tackles in the DBs.
But like, they're also not throwing to Travis. Like 2 games in a row, he had 0 targets.
Yeah.
He can't tackle if they're not throwing at him.
You know, right now, like one of the big ones is everyone's like, yeah, well, he let that touchdown. I was like, okay. He also got an interception. He also had 3 touchdowns on the other side of the ball. Like, what are we doing here? Right?
Yeah,
like,
okay, he gave up like Ashton Genty was tackled for a loss.
Yeah, exactly. It's
what
like,
are we doing?
Yeah, Ashton Genty's fumbled in his life. Like, it's
what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean,
the goalpost
it's
moving is insane.
Yeah. Again, though, it's narrative. He's not in the SEC. If he was in the SEC, oh my God.
Can you imagine?
He would be the Heisman favorite. He would be like minus 2,000 right now for Heisman.
He would have won the Heisman 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like it's because of where he plays.
Stupid.
I disagree with Dion because Dion said it's hate for him, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think it's just hate for the conference and the school because it's not a traditional thing. Like I said, I think if he plays for Deion Sanders at in Georgia, like just in a hypothetical world, like this race was over 6 weeks ago.
That's true.
Right. I don't think it's. There's probably some people who hold it against Deion.
Blue blood.
I don't think that's the overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like those 4 things though are all in consideration. And if there's only like 2 of them, then they'd be like, okay, he's the best.
Yeah,
things that people love to hate.
Out of the 4 things on that list, Deion Sanders being your coach is the last, I think, on that one. Right, in like terms of what's holding you back in Heisman, I think it's conference first. Right. Being on a team that wasn't great last year and is good this year, but is in, again, conference. It's still Colorado, right? It doesn't have the national respect that he did have at some point.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't think it's even Colorado. If Colorado was 10-0 right now and in the top 6, I think it would be locked up, regardless of who it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like nobody was whining about like we talk about Oregon feeling like disrespected and everything, but nobody complained about Marcus winning the Heisman when he did.
Yeah.
And Oregon's not a blue blood, right? Like call a spade a spade. Yeah. Oregon's not Michigan or Ohio State or Alabama.
No, and I don't want to be.
So, honestly. But like if they're undefeated, if Colorado's undefeated right now and Travis is doing what he's doing, this isn't even a discussion. I don't even care what school it is. Right.
Well, actually, you know what? I disagree with you for one reason and one reason only. If they were 10-0 right now and they're in the top 6, Shedeur would have the Heisman.
That's probably true.
It wouldn't be Travis.
At least be more in the discussion.
Yeah.
But like that's the problem with the Heisman. And this is what the problem is of giving the Heisman to the best quarterback or best player on the best team every year is it's not what the Heisman should be.
No.
Like Travis Hunter's the fucking Heisman. I don't care if Colorado has 6 losses right now. Travis Hunter's the best player in college football.
Yeah.
Anyway, Colorado takes care of business in impressive fashion. It was Peggy's 100th birthday on Tuesday, and the whole stadium sang her happy birthday. And I just cried. The whole Peggy thing is like the coolest. It's so cool. Just glad they embrace it. Let's see. Arizona State at Kansas State. The
Rolling
Fighting
Dillies.
Dillies, man. The Fighting Dillies are rolling.
They look
And
good.
all of a sudden, they have a path to the Big 12 title.
They just have to win. That's it.
Yep. Them in Colorado.
If they win, yeah.
We could have a Colorado Arizona State Big 12 championship this year.
Okay, so think about this: former Pac-12 schools in the Big 12. You could have Colorado and ASU playing. In the Big 10, Oregon's going to be playing in their championship, and in the ACC, there was a very real shot of Cal being there too, right? Like the former Pac again. The disrespect for the Pac-12 of being like they all suck.
Insane.
Immediate success in these new conferences. That's okay. Another thing, I'm just ranting now. SEC, their bias is here. All I'm seeing is like if Penn State was in the SEC grinder, they'd be 6-6. Blah 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 blah. No, statistically, when teams go to the SEC, they find success. Just suck on them. Exactly. Like look at Texas A&M and Missouri, both a year or two after they were in, they got in the SEC, they won, right? Texas winning the SEC. You don't go to the SEC and not find success. That's not what we're seeing right now, right?
Yep.
So what we're seeing right now is that the Pac-12 was the best conference because they're going in and finding success in every other conference. So just saying.
Yeah, I mean the success of the newcomers to all these conferences compared to, the year in, year out old heads is pretty impressive because everyone thought that all these teams that split off and went to new conferences were just going to get beat down.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the ACC, but
part of me wishes Oklahoma was better so they could go to so it'd be all newcomers. Like feels like Oregon, and I'll take Indiana still. We'll give Indiana the nod here.
Basically a newcomer.
I get no respect for the rest of the
newcomers. SMU, Cal, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, Arizona State, just all newcomers.
Just shutting out the old heads.
I think it's also great that it's Colorado and Arizona State, the two teams from the Pac-12 that were picked at the bottom below the other two teams from the Pac-12 who are objectively bad this year.
Yeah. Utah's a weird one.
Utah's a weird one. Like they're not even playing good defense.
No,
which is what like they've just quit, which is weird to see for a Whittingham team.
I think he retires.
It's very likely, I think. Upset of the week, Kansas takes care of BYU.
It had to come at some point, right?
Yeah. In the dumbest helmet logo ever. That old Kansas helmet, that old Kansas logo is terrible.
At first I thought you were referencing the dumbest helmet thing ever with the BYU punt that went off the dude's helmet.
That was dumb.
But then you went to the logo, and both of those things were some of the dumbest things I've seen in college football.
That logo was only missing like a sailor's hat from that time period.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it needed, was a sailor's hat.
It also needs like
to go into the
it's really bad. It's just really bad.
Oh, you mean
who looked at that and was like, yeah, this is it.
The Kansas Toucans? Got it.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Sold.
This is gonna sell.
We're gonna sell so many damn red and blue Fruit Loops.
Yeah, so we're gonna sell so many Fruit Loops.
BYU's undefeated streak ends. Their luck runs out. The question's going to be, can they bounce back and go into Tempe and beat Arizona State this weekend? We'll get into that one in a minute. LSU loses to Florida in big fashion. Yeah. Brian Kelly looks like a fucking idiot because he's screaming at his players and his players are screaming back at him. He has totally lost that locker room, which is unsurprising because he's a shit coach.
After all this like drama and stuff, do you think he might get fired? It depends on how the season ends. If they lose the next 2 games,
If they lose the
well-
next 2 games, he might get
well,
fired.
they probably have a cupcake week in there. I don't know their schedule, but if they like,
Yeah,
he's got
Vanderbilt
his
and
teeth got to be
Oklahoma.
warming up, right? With how he's like treating, like he's clearly lost the locker room. He's an embarrassment in the media.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
none
got
of
to
this
be
is
warmed up.
surprising. We called this when he
Got
left
hired.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. After that fucking hype video with him and a recruit,
Oh,
you knew the fit was terrible. Brian Kelly should have stayed at Notre Dame. Like that, Brian Kelly is a Notre Dame guy, right? He is not a Louisiana guy.
well, when he did the like, even before the cringy recruit video, when he did the fake Bayou accent at the basketball game,
Dude,
like
he's an
doing?
Indiana guy. He is not a Louisiana
No.
guy.
They're not
And-
going to fire him. Do you guys want to know what his buyout is?
What is it?
$61.7 million.
Jesus,
And they're still playing Orgeron through next year.
Dude, Coach O. They should have just kept Coach O, man. I love Coach O.
he was Louisiana.
Let's go win football games. I'm out. You got football, and
You always remind me of that
Exactly.
coach on Waterboy that wore the
Yes.
overalls single strapped.
Yeah.
Like just from the backwoods Bayou boy.
Yeah.
Yep. They finished with Vandy and Oklahoma. They're on a 3-game skid.
Dude, they could
Oh,
lose both those
so-
games.
It's not looking good.
I mean, like Pavia plays well against these like traditional teams, and what was the other one? Vandy.
Oklahoma.
They'll probably beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's
Probably
pretty
beat
good.
Oklahoma.
But like, they could lose those 2 games, and if they do, that 60 million be damned.
I don't know if you can just damn $60 million. And then you
There's-
got to
there-
pay somebody else.
There's LSU boosters out there who would be like,
I don't know, man. They're,
let's find
At
out.
some point you get
go
sick
back
of-
and get a Coach O.
I guess. I guess.
The return.
The return.
Return. South Carolina holds on to beat Mizzou, and Mizzou stays ranked somehow.
They didn't move.
Unreal.
They lost
Uh,
and didn't move in the rankings.
Yeah,
I've
we'll get
never
to the
seen that in my life.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Where was I? Georgia probably plays their most complete game of the year.
Yeah, they look
and
rounded.
Takes care of Tennessee. They're down 10-0 in the first, and then it was over after that.
Yeah. Yep.
Clemson beats Pitt 24-20. Syracuse beats Cal. That was probably Cal's worst game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Other notes. Notre Dame takes care of Virginia. Boston College loses to SMU. Boise
SMU.
State takes care of San Jose State. Navy got blanked by Tulane. That was one of the more surprising ones of the week.
Yeah. I kind of touched on it in like a podcast, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like Tulane is quietly playing the best football in the group of 5. Like
I don't think
Boise
it's even
State-
quiet.
Boise State is obviously the best player in group of 5, right? Like he is just out of his mind. He's so good. But like Boise State as a whole isn't like this insane football team. They're good. I'm not trying to knock Boise State here, but like Tulane is like a legit football team.
Yeah, their 2 losses are to 2 Power 5 teams, and this is just a total Power 4. Total cautionary tale to group of 5 schools of don't schedule Power 4 opponents.
I still think they can make the playoff.
I think they should.
Yeah.
Who?
Tulane.
Tulane. They're better. Like, you put Tulane against Boise State, I'm taking Tulane.
Man, it's tough just because Ashton Genty's him.
I think that'd be a
Right.
hell of a game to watch.
It'd be a fun game. I think it'd be a really fun game.
I'd about call it a coin flip right now with how Tulane's playing.
Take Ashton Genty out of that equation. It's not even close.
Not even close. It's not even close. It's a
You
Tulane
obviously
blowout.
can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah,
I
take Shador
acknowledge-
out of Colorado, and
I-
you know,
acknowledge.
yeah.
But Tulane's probably playing the best group of 5 ball, top to bottom.
Yeah.
2-0 this week in our best bets. We are back to 500 with Cameron.
We did
I'm
it.
trash.
Colorado won by more than 11.5. They won in impressive 25-point fashion. And Arkansas State wins the game, even with Eli's gamble.
Dude, I was like, just money line straight up. Let's go.
You did, and you got it. Props.
And I nailed it.
Props. All right, let's get into our rankings.
Oh yeah.
Cameron, cue the graphics.
Are we gonna do national CFP rankings first, then do ours?
CFP rankings. We are going to do that first. Let's see. 25 through 20. We've got Illinois, UNLV, Missouri, boo.
We lost Eli.
Iowa State, Arizona State, and Tulane. He'll be back. 19 through 15, we've got Army, South Carolina, Clemson, Colorado, and Texas A&M. 14 through 10, we've got, or 14 through 11, 14 through 13, we've got a fifth, whatever. BYU and SMU are 14 and 13. Then we get into our top 12. We've got Boise State, Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Indiana. And then your top 4 right now are Penn State, Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon. That would mean that if the season were to end today, your 12 seed would be, let's see, I gotta do the math here. 1 seed would be Oregon, 2 seed would be Texas, 3 seed would be Alabama, 4 seed would be Miami. Did I do that right?
Did you just say you said Oregon, Texas, and Alabama?
Oregon, Texas. You're right. I missed that. Oregon,
Miami,
Texas, Miami, Boise
State.
State would be your top 4. And BYU would slide into that 12 slot as the 5th conference champion, as it were today. And then in the 5 seed, you'd have Ohio State. 6 would be Penn State. 7 would be Indiana. 8 would be Notre Dame. 9 would be Alabama. 10 would be Ole Miss. 11 would be Georgia. And 12, again, would be BYU. So the team left out would be Tennessee.
I'm fine with
So
that.
let's see what you guys got.
Let's see what we got. That is wild to try to run through. I'm just looking at the ranking. I didn't bring the bracket up. So, all right, let's get into this with our rankings. At number 12 in my ranking.
Nope.
At number 12 in my bracket.
Yep.
I have BYU.
Oh. We have technical difficulties on that.
Don't look, everyone. Don't look.
Oh, we do.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
All right, let me look at it real quick.
Dun, 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 dun. How is Missouri ranked even a little?
It doesn't make any sense.
They didn't move.
Yeah, they lost and didn't move.
You know why?
Why, Cameron?
I signed in the wrong account. I was doing
That'll do it.
alumni band stuff.
That'll do it.
So it should.
I will talk through it, and then you can catch up when I get there. At the 12 seed in the playoff, there's BYU. Thank you. Right on cue. At the 12th ranked team for me, I have the U, Miami, which puts them at the 4 seed.
Oh, this is weird going this way.
It's wild.
Because Cameron and I ran through this. Like I said, I did this all at work, just like off the dome. So
Gonna be a little wild.
it's gonna be a little weird.
It's a ride. It's a ride.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go as Cameron pulls them up. So my number 12 is Ole Miss. And so that puts them at the 12 seed.
At my 11th ranked team, I have Boise State, which puts them at the 3 seed. This is why it's crazy.
That's
This
so
whole thing's
wild.
crazy.
This whole thing's crazy. At number 11, I have Notre Dame, kind of same area they've been. They haven't really moved much.
It's fair.
There's a lot of that for me. I just kind of slid things. I didn't move. There wasn't a whole lot of jumping or anything like that. I just kind of moved shit as people lost.
It's fair. At number 10 in my rankings, I have Tennessee, but they are not in the playoff.
Meat womp.
Oh, okay.
Because that's why BYU gets in there.
All right. At number 10, I have the U, which puts them at the 10 spot.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
That's
Moo
interesting.
up there.
That's weird.
At number 9,
crazy.
I have Notre Dame, which puts them at the 11 seed. Trying to figure out this seeding when I sent Cameron the rankings
Yeah.
was it was nuts.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Eli
you got to
texted me
start
his
at 1.
Eli texted me his 12, and I was going through going, oh, no. Oh,
You got to start at
Oh.
1.
you got to start at 1.
You got to start at 1 and be like, all right, 1 seed is the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And then if number 2 is also in the same conference, you got to put them at 5.
Yep.
And you got to
Yeah.
do it that way.
It's wild.
Which is
It's
fine,
weird.
but when you get through like 6 through 10, you're going, okay, wait,
Oh,
who's,
God, yeah.
where's, all right.
Yep. It's rough.
So Eli's 9.
Oh, yeah. My 9 is Boise State, which puts them at the 9 spot.
So you're chalk so far.
Yes.
8, I have Georgia,
Georgia,
which puts them at the 10 seed.
Georgia.
Nice. I think this is where I stopped getting chalk. At the 8, I have SMU,
Smooth.
which puts them at the 4 seed.
I like that. Honestly, I have SMU at 14 only because they lost to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're gonna see here that I basically I looked at them and I said they're comparable resumes. And BYU has the head-to-head.
it's fair. That's
So.
fair. At my 7, I have Alabama, which puts them at the 9 seed.
Okay. At my 7, I have BYU, which puts them at the 3.
At 6, I've got Ole Miss, which puts them
Ooh,
at
you
8.
jumped them up. Where were they?
Yeah, I
at?
mean, I don't remember where they were last week. I put them up there because, like the loss to Kentucky's not good, but I can't just ignore the fact that they killed Georgia.
Yeah, I mean they look fantastic right now. They're
Yeah.
passing every eye test.
And here's the thing: like once you get past the top 4, really, like you could put all these teams in your hand, shake it up, and throw the dice, and they'd be wherever they land.
And you can make an argument.
and
for
I'd
every
be okay
placement.
with it.
Yeah. All right. At my number 6, I have Georgia, which puts them at the 8 spot.
Boise State going to Georgia, that would be wild.
Yeah.
Number 5, I have Penn State, which puts them at the 7 seed.
Dude, Georgia going to Penn State, that would be fun.
Yes.
We got to talk about the matchups after.
Yes, we'll talk
That's what we'll
about
do. Okay, at 5, I have Penn State, which puts them at the 7.
That's another fun one.
Yeah.
This is going to be so good. I get that it's drama filled, like in these weeks leading up to it, but
Yeah.
when we actually get to these fucking football games,
Oh my God. I'm
it's
so
going to
excited.
be so good. All right,
Home
number
playoff games,
4.
insane.
I have Indiana, which puts them at the 6th seed. Indiana, I think, is getting, even by me, I will fully admit, I think is getting unfairly punished for brand. in both the CFP poll and in my poll, but their resume isn't great.
Yeah, I mean, I have spoiler alert. I have them at 4 as well, and for all the same reasons, I don't necessarily think it's unfair that they're getting punished at like 4 because they've played pretty much only the
Nobody.
worst teams in the Big Ten.
They played the bottom 6 teams in the Big
Yeah,
Ten.
but they've crushed them.
Yeah, and the
Right.
one halfway decent team they beat is Washington. It's the only team they've beat that has a winning record currently, actually.
Yeah, but like they're doing what you're supposed to do against bad teams.
Bad teams, exactly.
And they're
I mean,
winning.
like if you're Indiana, like you can feel slighted this week. It doesn't fucking matter. Like this week means nothing.
Yeah.
Like what these rankings are right now mean absolutely nothing. If you want to shut people up, go beat Ohio State this weekend.
Yep.
Then
That's
it's
what it
over.
is. Yeah. Yeah, and then then you're legit. So
that's like the narrative thing and how you're talking about how being pissed off. And I get that it's like the rack and stack and the politicking to get the SEC higher is annoying. But like at the end of the day, win fucking football games.
Well, that's the problem though, is they're trying to make it so you don't have to win games.
Yeah, but like as much as we don't like the SEC, like Boise State having one loss, that one loss is like with the rest of their conference means a lot more.
Yeah.
And Georgia having 2 losses but being ahead of Boise State is totally justified.
I mean, yeah.
So like there's a point to it, but it's over the top.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, I have Texas, which puts them at the 2 seed.
At number 3, I also have Texas, which puts them at the 2 seed.
Number 2 is Ohio State at the 5.
Same.
And then Oregon rounds out your top 12.
That's our brackets. Let's talk about these a little bit. Some of these matchups. I have Ole Miss going to Ohio State, going to the shoe for a playoff game.
That would be
electric.
Yeah.
Electric. I mean, Boise State going to Georgia, not electric, but it'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
I mean, the Penn State or Miami going to Penn State would be a lot of fun. Notre Dame going to Indiana would be weird, and just exactly what you want out of the first 12-team playoff.
Also, both Indiana teams, like, yes.
Oh yeah, too. I didn't even think about that. That'd be sick. And you have Georgia going to Happy Valley. Could you Happy Valley in a playoff game? Insane.
Against Georgia.
Georgia. Bama going to Ole Miss. That's whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of boring. BYU at
going
Ohio
into
State.
The shoe would be fun.
That Notre Dame Indiana game for me of that group. So your Ole Miss Ohio State game is legit. Georgia Penn State's legit, but both of us having Notre Dame Indiana, I think that would be fucking crazy.
That'd be so sick. So sick.
I also want to point out again, I know I've said it before, but I feel like that 5 seed, I feel like that one's going to be the one year in and year out that team's going to make it to the semis.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
A lot.
Yep.
I feel like the 4 seed's going to get upset by the 5 seed almost every year. It's just how I feel today with how they do that with the conference champs. And there's always 1 or 2 really bad conferences.
Yeah.
Bad, like way worse than the rest. So that 4 seed, I just feel like it's going to get teeth kicked in.
Yep. I would agree with that.
So that's where we're at. Good stuff. All right. Let's get into our week 13 preview. Thank God we have a week where we don't have to worry about Oregon football.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I needed a bye week as much as the fucking team did.
Me too.
Just my brain. I need a break.
Yep.
Then we can come back for hate week. It's fine. Big Ten kicks off Friday as per usual with Purdue going to Michigan State in the battle of the suck. Michigan State is 13.5-point favorites. while Michigan State's not good, Purdue is really, 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 really bad.
Yeah, Michigan State is not good, but they're not the worst team ever, and Purdue might be.
They might be. I think Kent State's giving them a run for their money this year, but coming up second might be Purdue.
Oh no, Kent State's maybe the worst team ever. Like
Might
legitimately
be.
the worst team. Purdue's like a bad Power 5 team. Kent State's like one of the worst teams ever.
Question for you. 2024 Purdue against 2008 Washington on a neutral site. Who wins?
Here's the thing. At least 2008 Washington had Jake Locker.
I think Purdue wins just to make Washington go 0-13.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. I think it would end up honestly being like a 3-0 game.
Be a 0-0 tie toilet bowl.
Love that. God, that team was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Remember when Oregon beat Washington 12 years in a row?
Wasn't it like 17? Anyway, it was a lot.
It was 12.
It was 12.
I like to think it was 17, okay?
Oh no, and like it was like 16 of the last 17 meetings though.
That's right. I knew there was a 17 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
New streak begins next week, but we'll get there next week. Big noon kickoff. Fucking stupid ass Fox. Indiana at Ohio State. The plus side is we get to watch this game when there's no other big games on.
Yes.
The downside is this should be a night game.
It should be a night game.
That being said, Ohio State is a 13.5-point favorite. They just lost their center for the season. He was what most people are saying their best offensive lineman, with their second best offensive lineman being the left tackle that went out in the second half of the Oregon game. And I don't know if he's back or not, but that Ohio State line being banged up could make a difference here. That being said, I'm picking Ohio State to win and cover. Until I see it from Indiana, I just can't fully buy it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Right? Is like the offensive line for Ohio State, like they still got players, right? It's not like they're still backing them up with probably another 5-star, right? Like
probably not, but a 4-star.
4-star, like a really
good
player.
Really
there's
good
no, they're not going to have like a shitty center, right? Like they're just not. They've been too good at recruiting for too long to have a shitty anything, right? And like Indiana, while they play well and they execute really well, they're not really like flashy, right? They're not going to just bull rush over the entire offensive line at Ohio State. They're going to play their gaps and they're going to play them solidly, like they have all year, right? So I don't see this being that big of an issue for Ohio State. And like Indiana is executing at a high level. Ohio State's just a better team, so I have them winning and covering.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly, I'm just looking at it to see what their depth is at center. Their backup behind Seth McLaughlin is Josh Padilla. He's a redshirt freshman. He's backed him up the past couple of weeks, but looks like Ryan Day said that they could move Hinsman over as well, who started 12 games last year as center and is redshirt freshman. So
just so we know here, Josh Padilla was rated as a 90 on 24/7 Sports, which is just about the cutoff for a 5-star, but he was a 4-star.
Yeah,
near 5-star. So like again, they have the talent there to make up for this.
Yeah,
just not a lot of playing experience. So talent is
True.
one thing.
Yeah,
it's just something to watch. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I got Ohio State across the board. I think you're still going to do it.
Illinois at Rutgers. Wait, one real quick in the chat. All Day Jones saying we beat Washington 12 years in a row, with the first 11 being by 17 or more points. See, several 17s, but yes, you're right. That's the one I was probably getting stuck on. Illinois at Rutgers. Illinois is a 1-point favorite. At this point, I hope they fucking win out.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be the game of the week. I think this is going to be the most fun. I think this is going to be the most fun game of the week.
By spread, you're right.
The theory for me is that Rutgers is on their way up. They're starting to play pretty good ball. Illinois had that bounce back last week, and they're capable of playing really good ball. I think this is going to be back and forth. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this game. I think it's just, in terms of gravitas, or in terms of how much it matters in the scope of things, this is not the best game of the week. I think this will be the most fun game of the week.
I agree.
But I have Illinois both ways.
We all have Illinois.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, if Illinois wins, they have to at least tie the spread.
Yeah.
Iowa at Maryland. Iowa's a 6.5-point favorite. Give me the Hawkeyes both ways.
Cool. I'm taking Iowa, but I'm doing it like a 3-point game. Because why not?
Sure. Yeah, I got Iowa both ways.
Penn State at Minnesota. Penn State's a 12.5-point favorite. Give me Penn State. Give me Minnesota to cover. I couldn't tell you why. I just feel like this, like Drew Aller's going to throw like 2 picks and keep Minnesota in this when they have no business.
The boat going to be rowing is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota plays really well at home. But I got Penn State both ways.
Yeah, I got the same way as Jamie. Minnesota's going to beat the spread, but they ain't going to beat Penn State.
Spoiler alert, save for one game, Cameron is with me all the way down.
Yeah.
Northwestern at Michigan. Michigan's a 10.5-point favorite. Give me the Wolverines both.
Yep.
Wisconsin at Nebraska. Nebraska's a 2.5-point favorite. Fuck it. Give me the Badgers.
Dude, here's the thing. I think the game last week actually propels Wisconsin. A lot of the Illinois game really set Illinois back for Oregon, or Oregon set Illinois back because they demoralized them. I think Wisconsin realizing they can hang with the number 1 team in the country sets them off. I think they start playing better. So I'm going Whisk the whole way.
Samesies.
Also, the thought of Nebraska finishing 5-7 and missing a bowl game again.
That's pretty funny.
By losing their last 6 games would just be incredible.
What? So they've got Wisconsin and who?
Iowa.
Oh, they both
at Iowa.
Yeah.
Those are losable.
Yep.
And oh my God.
So for this week, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin, baby. USC at UCLA in a Big Ten matchup of Big Ten, whatever you want to call it.
Expansion.
USC is a 4.5-point favorite. Give me the Bruins.
I love the pick. I really do. I love the pick. I'm going to go tight game. USC, UCLA covers. 3-point game. I'm going another 3-point game. I've picked 3 of them. One of them's got to hit, you'd think.
If Nebraska and USC could both finish 5-7, that just would be incredible for me.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, I got UCLA both ways.
All right, that's it for the Big Ten. We got Colorado visiting Kansas at Arrowhead. Colorado's a 3-point favorite. Give me the Buffs. Kansas has been playing decent ball and played upset to quite a few teams here recently. 2 teams in a row, almost 3 with Kansas State. Colorado, the 2 teams that they're playing were kind of scraping by with Iowa State and BYU, and Kansas capitalize. Colorado is not scraping by. I just feel like the offense is going to be too much for Kansas to handle.
I agree with you. Like again, Kansas without a bonehead play from BYU loses that game, right? So we're looking at a team like they're good. They're playing good right now. CU's rolling. They just are. Like you can't. There's undeniably CU's rolling through the.
They
Big
got
12
all
right
the
now.
moxie right now.
Yeah. So give me CU. Give me CU by 2 or 3 scores.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of looked at this game, and I've taken CU by 14 every chance I could get. I might go by 20 on this one.
Yeah.
And just
This
kinda,
like this is like if you're talking trap games, this one scares me a bit, right? Because now now everybody's talking about Colorado's the favorite to win the Big 12, right? And just their ability to keep that chatter out of the locker room, right? Like they've been able to do this kind of under the radar, which is shocking for Colorado and Dion. But they like for the last 6-7 weeks, really until the last 2 weeks, they've been kind of sneaking by, just winning games. Now the hype's starting to build again. So how do they handle that? That's the one thing I want to see.
Yeah. Well, like, I think another factor is here. Kansas just won an emotional
Right.
second
And
game.
that's right. And they're not really at home. Right. So like this isn't. Yeah. So yeah. BYU at Arizona State. This might be my game of the week.
This could be game of the week.
This one's going to be super interesting, right? Because you got a super young Arizona State team that's hot and has a super fiery coach in Kenny Dillingham, and then you got BYU coming off their emotional loss at home last week, looking to rebound and keep their Big 12 title hopes alive. This game's intriguing as hell to me, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, there's just something about this Kenny Dillingham team that I like a lot, and I think this is a 6-7 point win for the Sun Devils.
Yeah. You remember how like a couple weeks ago I said Kurt Signetti needs to win Coach of the Year?
Kenny Dillingham's making a
very strong case.
Very
strong case here. So I'm taking ASU both ways.
same. Just like what they're doing.
I think again, like BYU got demoralized, I think, by losing that game. And like once they have nothing to fight for, like
Yeah.
They don't have nothing to fight for, but
yeah.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Cameron, what?
Nothing, we're good.
Let's see. Iowa State at Utah. Iowa State's a 7.5 point favorite. We talked about it a little bit earlier. This Utah team's just kind of given up. I'm taking the Cyclones both ways. I know they've been playing with fire, and it's bit them twice here in the last 3 weeks, or the last 3 games that they've played. I don't think it's been 3 weeks, but anyway, they kind of righted the ship last week against Cincinnati, and I think Iowa State kind of rolls in this one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Cincinnati at Kansas State. Kansas State is reeling a bit. Two losses in a row. One of those being a really, really bad loss against Houston, and they kind of got rolled by Arizona State. Like this game wasn't even as close as the score indicated, and it was a 10-point loss at home. This game's intriguing because of that. I'm taking Kansas State to win, but I think Cincy's going to cover. Feels like a touchdown game.
All right. I'm taking Kansas State both ways. I'm going to bounce back here. Bounce back week.
Yeah, I think Eli's probably right, but I got to keep copying Jamie. So Cincy against the spread, but Kansas State's going to win.
Ole Miss at Florida. The Rebels are rolling right now. Arguably playing the best ball in the SEC at the moment.
Florida's also kind of rolling.
But Florida is playing good ball, and I think they they're not, right? They got killed by Texas, but big bounce back win at home against LSU. They're at home again against Ole Miss. I just think Ole Miss has way too much firepower.
Florida
Florida
Jackson
is
Dart's
not,
out of his mind right
yeah,
now.
Florida's better than their record indicates. We knew that was going to be the case going into this season. They just have a fucking gauntlet of a schedule.
Mhm.
That all being said, Ole Miss wins and covers.
Same.
Yep.
Stanford at Cal, the big game in the ACC. Because what the fuck is the world? This game doesn't feel like the big game anymore, but it's here. Cal's a 14.5-point favorite. Cal's going to win. Stanford's going to cover. Stanford had one of the craziest wins I've ever seen.
Dude,
last
one of
week.
the dumbest wins of all time.
Of all time.
It's like that's up there with like Mario Cristobal running the ball.
It really is.
Georgia Tech.
It really is.
For those of you who don't know, Stanford was driving way
Not
out
driving.
of field goal range.
Not driving. They got the ball with 5 seconds left.
Oh, was that it? Oh, I thought they were
Yeah.
driving that. Oh,
They
I thought okay, I
got
thought that
the
was the end of
ball
a
with
drive.
5 seconds left. They had one offensive play on that whole thing.
Okay,
Makes it even worse.
makes it even worse. 5 seconds left. Goes out of bounds. And the Louisville defender just hold on and like started like yanking on a guy's leg. Obviously, that's a personal foul. Obviously, you're gonna get flagged for that. You 100% of the time. Got flagged for it, 15 yards. Okay, Stanford lines up for an incredibly long field goal.
59 yards.
59-yard field goal. And then, guess what happens? Jump off sides. Like by a lot.
Like sprinted
Like,
offsides.
like, how did you move?
He sprinted offsides.
Yeah, sprinted offsides. And that puts Stanford into a 54-yard field goal. Nail it.
It might have been 57 and 52.
I think it was 57, 52. But yeah.
Still long ass field goal.
And he cleared it by less than 5 yards. Like that 5 yards was needed.
100%. Like he barely squeaked that over that upright or the crossbar. Insane.
And I think that essentially ended Louisville's chances in the ACC.
Oh, I think for sure. Right.
I don't know if they're mathematically eliminated, but I think it essentially eliminates them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're 6-4. They are eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Nuts, dude. Crazy. Anyway, Stanford at Cal, the big game. Yeah. Cal wins. Stanford covers because why not?
I got Cal both ways.
I got Cal probably by like 10.
The band may or may not be on the field at the end of the game.
They may or may not be.
Pitt at Louisville. Louisville is an 8-point favorite. Louisville's going to win. Pitt's going to cover because Louisville's going to do some stupid shit at the end of the game to make it so.
I'm going redemption week. Louisville both ways.
That's probably what it's going to be. But
Yeah, I like that. But I'm still going Louisville and Pitt against the spread.
Army at Notre Dame. Love this matchup. Notre Dame's a 14.5-point favorite. I love the story. I love everything about what Army's doing right now. However, ever since losing to Northern Illinois, Notre Dame is on a fucking mission, and I think that continues this week. Got Notre Dame both.
So we're doing like a high ground, low ground, middle ground thing here. So Cameron, why don't you go next?
So I got Army both ways, obviously.
I have to.
Army's going to win by 2. It's just going to be crazy. And it's going to come off of the hype for their uniform for the Army Navy game in 3 weeks. Like everything's teams come, they're like, sweet, let's be undefeated going to that week. We got to beat Notre Dame on Saturday.
Yeah, I get it.
If Army beats Notre Dame, they're jumping Boise State. I'm calling it right now.
If Army beats Notre Dame, they deserve to jump Boise State.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
it would be a ranked win.
Yeah,
it's a top 6 win.
Yeah.
Which Boise State doesn't have. They have a top 6 loss.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So in the high ground, low ground, middle ground, I'm picking Notre Dame to win, but Army to cover. I'm thinking 10-point game.
You're thinking you're going to get a win-loss here, and that's what you're running away with.
I'm going 10-point game.
All right. We'll see. Boise State at Wyoming. Wyoming is bad.
Bad.
Ashton Genty is really good. Boise State's a 23-point favorite. Ashton Genty is going to cover this spread.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think Boise State's going by like 30.
This is
And
an easy win.
Boise State has to make statements, right? Like it has to be convincing. So there's no taking the foot off the gas,
Nope.
right? And Ashton Genty's going for that Heisman, and he needs like 8 touchdown performances.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to be a blowout. Colorado State at Fresno State. Colorado State currently sits at second in the Mountain West, which is wild.
Well,
However,
$600,000 is maybe worth it,
they are they are visiting Fresno State. I think this one comes back and bites them. No, I don't. Nope. I picked Colorado State. I'm
no, you
sticking
didn't.
with it. I picked Fresno State in the pick'em. Is what I did. But just for funsies, I'm picking the Rammies.
I'm picking the Rammies.
Yeah, I got the Rams.
Washington State at Oregon State. Oregon State is bad. We didn't talk about it in our rundown. They got blanked by a bad Air Force team.
Oregon State is in the middle of a massive collapse. Like just in like a really kind of an insane collapse. Because like when they played Oregon, they looked like a competent football team, right? They weren't like good, right? Like they didn't have any passing game, but they could run the shit out the ball.
Yeah, I thought
Right.
they'd, go through the Mountain West at least.
Yeah, nope. They have absolutely crumbled. They can't run the ball even anymore, really. They can't run it efficiently or well. They have just fallen completely off the map. Everything that could go wrong for them this season has gone wrong.
Losing by 4 touchdowns to Air Force.
Inexcusable.
Totally. Air Force is bad.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, do you want to know what Air Force's 2 wins were? Actually, one of them's decent.
What?
Coming into before 2 weeks ago, do you know what Air Force's only win was?
No.
It was an abbreviation that I've never seen before. Merrimack.
Merrimack College?
Merrimack College.
Okay. What's the other
21-6. Their other win was actually Fresno State, which is a good win.
Yeah.
And that was the week before beating Oregon State. So maybe Air Force has found something. However, getting blanked by a 2-7 team at the time. Yikes.
That's bad.
That is bad. That's that. Best bets of the week. I got the Buffaloes -3.
Wait, no, we didn't actually pick.
Oh, Washington State's gonna roll.
I think Washington State big.
Yeah. They're gonna hurt him.
This is gonna be what the kids call ugly.
I think everyone would call it ugly, not just the kids.
Best
I
bets.
just call it sus.
There's Skibbity Toilet or whatever.
Yeah. Cooked. Oregon State's cooked.
They are cooked. Washington State is Eli's best bet because
Yes, it is.
they're cooked. Colorado is my best bet because I'm doing well with Colorado as my best bet.
Nailed it.
That's
It's gonna
that.
be 13-15 after this weekend.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You guys have wised up.
Well,
You guys went to like week.
we went through like at the beginning we did okay. Eli did not to start. I did okay to start. Then we went through like this 8-week span where we would purposefully try to pick like random games that we actually don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And it turned out you were picking stinkers. Now you gotta.
Now I've wisened up and I pick
Yeah.
games that I actually know things about.
You guys are gonna win in the last like 6 weeks.
Yep. Cool. Any last notes about college football?
I'm excited for the 12-team playoff.
I can't wait. I need all the narrative has to stop. It needs to stop. It's out of control. Like I heard Joey Galloway on the show last night talking about how Indiana should rest their starters against Ohio State to guarantee a playoff spot because they'd only be a one-loss team. Just like the shit that people have to put out there to get clicks.
Yeah.
Like it's so annoying.
Well, and like literally the amount of people who think that Georgia should be number one because they have the best losses is insane.
Oh, just the narratives around this. Like everybody will cherry pick the one stat that makes their team look like the best.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is Georgia so low? They have the highest strength of record or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. To me, it's like, man, why are we playing the games? Like especially with this SEC narrative, right? Some of the other ones I'm like are like dumb. But like this SEC narrative is like, why are we playing games? Just put them in. Just put in 6 SEC teams for fun. It doesn't matter if they lose 4 games.
I mean, the good thing is the committee didn't do that, right? Like,
yeah,
I think we can all look at what the committee did in this playoff rankings. And I think we can fairly sufficiently say they got it largely right. Like Tennessee wouldn't make the playoff, right?
Yeah.
So from the SEC, you got Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, which is what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like
as long as the committee doesn't fall to the narratives, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Just gotta get through it.
Yep.
You know what sucks? I
What?
told Cameron this today. Oregon's clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship game. I've had this it's basically my honeymoon, but it's also our 10-year anniversary trip to Jamaica planned for 2 goddamn years. And I'm literally going to be walking into my hotel room in Jamaica at kickoff.
Brutal, dude. At least you'll be in the hotel room.
But it's in Jamaica. I don't think I get US TV in Jamaica.
I don't know.
Cameron
You
said I
find
got to
it
get a VPN, which I do. Like, I can find ways. But my wife might actually kill me.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger thing.
Yeah, that's the problem there.
Especially if you gotta go like jump through hoops so you can watch this on the first night of your like honeymoon 10-year anniversary.
Here's what you do. Are you guys going direct to Jamaica?
Yeah.
Dramamine the shit out of her.
Oh yeah, just drug my wife.
Yeah, hey, here's the thing. It's a win-win, right? She doesn't get jet lagged. She gets to have a real nice nap.
On my East Coast time. It's not
and you
yeah, he's going south. He's not going like east or west.
Guys, Jamie, I'm trying to help you.
I appreciate it.
And then
I just want to survive this trip.
And then she gets a nice nap and you get to watch the game.
I'm trying to find a way in the next 2 weeks to bring this up gently.
Just have her listen to like the last 10 minutes of what I've said.
I just don't think I can. I can be like, here's my 2 options, babe. I can drug you, which is what Eli wants me to do. Or you can
I just want her to have a nice nap. She deserves it. She deserves some peace and quiet, Jamie. She deserves some sleep.
I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
What,
Jamie, you don't think that her job is hard? Jamie, do you not think she deserves a nap?
It's very hard. She deserves a trip to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Ta-da! And you're gonna fly in business class. She's gonna have plenty of time to nap on the plane on her own.
I'm gonna be watching the Big 12 championship on the plane.
I'm not.
It's not gonna be good, boys.
Well, good luck.
You're gonna have to like sneakily send me like Facebook messages or something because I don't think texting works either.
I'll WhatsApp you.
Yeah, snag a WhatsApp.
I actually think texting. I don't know how it works. I'll find out.
Our plan has international.
There you go.
So,
I can text, but I can't believe I'm gonna have to watch fucking Big Ten championship via text message.
That, or you just like pull up like the radio broadcast online on your phone, just like listen to it.
I think she's gonna murder me either way.
Just lounge by the pool, put in an earbud, and just keep
I mean,
she watched
the game on Saturday, and she was like, she actually texted me during the game. She's like, I changed my shirt because they weren't playing well. So maybe
She gets it. She
somehow
gets
in the next couple weeks, I just need to really get her. Like, this is critical to
No,
my
what you have
well-being.
to do is you have to soft launch this over the next 2 weeks. Like, you got to like subtle hints every day, just a little bit. No, like, hey, babe, the game is on when we're checking in. You gotta be like, oh, December 8th or the 7th. That's when the Big Ten championship is.
I'm really excited
Cool.
for the Big Ten championship in a couple weeks.
Oh, we're gonna be in Jamaica too. Okay.
Oh, that'll
Like,
oh man,
never
it's gonna be
say
a really
it and,
good
like,
weekend for
You got
us.
it's all upward
No,
tones.
no.
It's all
As
upward
soon
tones.
as I even say Jamaica, it's over.
It's all upward tones, baby.
I can put any vocal inflection I want on that bitch. It's not going to polish that turd.
All right, well, good luck, Jamie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And that's why I
Luckily,
stay single. The
luckily,
only reason.
here's the thing. I'm somewhat grateful. A 12-team playoff alleviates a lot of the stress of that game because honestly, if Oregon wins next week against Washington, they're the 1 or 5 seed, and I'm Gucci. Like, I'm good with either of those.
Yeah.
Great. So, like, while I would love to win the Big Ten championship and I would love to watch it, the stress level is relatively low.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. Like, it could be worse, right? Like, if this was last year and it was like win and in, lose and out, I don't know what I would do with myself.
Yeah, that would be a different case. But yeah, you
For sure.
did luck out a little bit, maybe.
It's glad that's my glass half full take on that. All right, who gets the buzzer beater? I don't even remember who did it last week.
I think I did.
Cool. I'll do it.
Okay. Listener, we love you. Viewer, we love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us, being a part of the show. We appreciate every listen, every view. Zeta June, thank you for letting us use your music. It's really dope. And we like having it as our outro. Super producer Cameron, thanks for taking our show to new heights, new levels. We appreciate you. Say bye, Cameron.
Bye, Cameron.
Now, Jamie, hit us with your buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater is hate week starting early this year, bitches. Dubs down.
Deuces. Nice.
Fire.